My name is Angelo Bracco, and I teach at Solano Middle School in Vallejo, California, and I teach special education. I've been teaching going on my 14th year. I was a police officer for 27 years, and as a police officer I worked very closely with the Mount Diablo School District. When I retired from law enforcement, I wanted to stay connected with youth, and there's a lot of opportunities for police officers when they retire, but this was an opportunity that I didn't want to pass up, to stay connected with youth, and that's what kind of led me down the road. I've learned a lot. It has been such a rewarding experience in that respect. I had two students that were in Algebra 1. They both had difficulty and were sent back to me because of behavior issues and what have you. Well, when they came back to me, I'll never forget, I sat down with them and said, okay guys, where are we at here? You know, what were you learning in this algebra class? And they said, well, Mr. B, we're learning quadratic inequalities. I said, what? I hadn't seen anything like that for 25 years. So what it did, though, it made me go back. I took 2 math classes that summer, and to acclimate myself again for Algebra 1, Algebra 2, geometry, just getting back into it. But probably the biggest benefit I think I've received is the credibility that I've kind of earned through the years. We began a program. It was a program with the Solano County Mental Health and a collaboration with the Vallejo City Unified School District. A program that emerged called Cornerstone. So this program to this day has such far-reaching effects, and there was a high school in Vallejo called People's High School. Edison Kelly, he's the principal of that particular high school, and I just talked to him recently, and he goes, because of your program, we instituted it at our site, and it's been a huge success. So I'm really proud of that. When I first started out, Judy Osborne Shaw, she was a teacher at Solano Middle School. She came in and observed and really gave me some pointers that assisted me throughout. A person by the name of Alan Gottfried, he was the person that was instrumental in helping us put this program together, Cornerstone. He was the piece for Solano Mental Health. Sheila Quintana, she was the principal in 2007. She brought me on board and taught me budgets, taught me how to implement different programs, to the point now that I handle most all the budgets at our school. And of course, Bob Russell, our current principal, who nominated me for, along with his administrative team, Catherine Luz Coates and Nikki Pitcher. And probably the biggest supporter I have is my wife. Sometimes I'm at school 2-3 nights a week until 9 o'clock, and she's just been so supportive.
Wow, I cannot believe I'm here. You are looking at an original California prune picker, garlic topper, and from Gilbert, California, and here I am, selected. Wasn't that awesome? Some of the videos. I mean, to see these teachers and okay, I won't go off script. But anyway, seeing these teachers and being selected, 1 of 5 in the state of California, where there's nearly 400,000 teachers. So, yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Okay. I'd like to acknowledge some very special guests who have supported me in implementing the best program in our district for hope and positivity in the future of our students. Dr. Ramona Bishop, Superintendent of the Vallejo City Unified School District. Dr. Bishop. Dr. Ubaldi, our school board president. And Robert Russell, our principal. I'd like to acknowledge you as well. I want to thank Dr. Ubaldi's wife, Carol, who's sitting next to him. By the way, it's her 46th anniversary today. He's wanting to spend it here to hear my speech. So, okay. I have my son Jeff and his wife Kylan. I also have my wife Annette, who's also sitting at the table. And then I see some school people as well. I see Sandy, I see Matt. Wow. Okay, thanks for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. Okay, but I have to say this, that my wife is also a special needs teacher. She teaches at the same school that I do. So, yeah, she's been my main supporter and a person that I could lean on. I spent 30 years in law enforcement in both San Francisco and Concord Police Department. I was recognized as Police Officer of the Year in both cities. As a youth offender detective, I worked with adolescents involved in youth crimes. When I retired from law enforcement, I felt the compassion to continue working with troubled youth. Becoming a special education teacher was the path I took to pursue that passion. My experience in working with misguided youth was an asset in helping these students. While teaching for the Vallejo City Unified School District in a middle school setting, I developed a program for emotionally disturbed students. I was able to foster individual relationships with each of my students by providing support and structure. Students who were unable to manage themselves in other schools and classes were now able to participate and find success in the general education population. Tonight I'm going to present one of my students. His name is Keon. Those of us in education know a student like Keon. He came to my program as a volatile, angry kid who threw desks across the classroom, broke out windows, and physically attacked peers and staff. Keon could not attend school until he entered my program. I worked with him before, during, and after school every day on academics and in building trust. Today, Keon is one of my star students. He participates in all general education classes and is a peer tutor. He recently made honor roll and is looking forward to a bright high school future. My students know that if the stresses of their classes become too great and they fear a potential meltdown, they can return to my class for support. My students are successful. Their academic performances are at the top of their class. If you can paint a picture. As you enter my classroom, there is a poster with an illustration depicting a tricycle and a racing bike. Not all of my students have the same academic skills or progress at the same pace, but whether they are on a tricycle or on a speed bike, they will cross the finish line for educational success. Thank you so much for allowing me to be up here, and I appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you for allowing me to be a teacher. Thank you.
Angelo Bracco, all I have to say is law enforcement's loss, education's gain. Thank you.